Trello interface walk. Welcome to this session, and in this we'll explore Trello's interface in details. By the end, you will know how to navigate Trello confidently and understand where to find all the tools you need to stay organized and productive. Let's dive in. So, overview of the Trello's interface, the Trello dashboard. When you log into Trello, the dashboard is your starting point. It is designed to give you a quick overview and easy access to your boards, and here is what you will find. So that's a typical dashboard when you first log in. The navigation menu on the left gives you access to home, workspaces, templates, and more. Workspaces, click on Trello. Okay, here it is. When you first log in, this is what you get to see. Boards, templates, home, Trello workspace, getting started, boards, collections, highlights, and all of this. The workspace section groups related boards together for team, for personal projects. The workspace section, so that's the workspace section. It groups related boards together for teams or personal projects. So, for example, boards, your boards. So what it does is, let me go back. Yeah, so the workspace, your workspaces. So it groups the boards, your workspaces, personal, team, and so on. The way it grouped recently viewed. So if you have 10 or 20 workspaces, the recently viewed would be here, your personal workspaces would be here, the shared workspaces would be here, and so on. A list of your recent boards ensures quick access to the boards you have been working on recently. So moving on to creating your first board. Click on create new board. To start organizing tasks, you will need a Trello board, and for that you click on create a new board. So that's where you click here, create a board like we created in the previous video. Click on create a board, give the board a title, give the board a visibility, keep it private, for a workspace or for public. Name your board, choose a background, and set privacy. The anatomy of a Trello board. Now, I'll not create a new one here because we already have one. So my first Trello board. Now, what exactly is this, and what are the different elements or the anatomy of a Trello board? If you see, it has lists, it has cards, and it has menu. So this is the board. I can minimize it. So this is a typical board. Now this has list. What are the lists? To do, in progress, review. These are the different lists, and within the lists are these cards, individual tasks. So board, lists, and cards. So that's the typical structure of a Trello board. Then on the right you have the option to look at the menu, about this board, activity, archived items, settings, changing background, custom fields, automation, power-ups, and so on. So that's the menu. So this setup ensures you always have a clear visual representation of your workflow. Exploring key features, you have search bar, you have notifications, and you have power-ups. So search bar, that's here. If you are, so right now the board is pretty small and you can search for anything and everything right here by looking at it, and you might not need the search option, but when the board grows, when the list grows, when the cards grow, you will need the search option. And if you click on advanced search, I click my first Trello board, and it does the search accordingly. So that's the search option. The notification option, like any other option, you get all the notifications, or unread, read. It shows all the notifications here. The power-ups add extra functionality to your board, such as calendars, integrations with Google Drive, Slack, and so on. And these features make Trello intuitive and efficient. No matter how complex power-ups, here they are. These are the power-ups. So these are the different power-ups made by Trello. Calendar, card repeater, Google Chat, Jira, MailChimp, OneDrive, Salesforce, Slack, Voting, Zendesk, and so on. So these are made by Trello. Then you can find other Power Apps created by third parties. So that's some of the key features. Adding and managing cards. So adding a description, checklist, attach files, and setting up due dates. So what is a card? Once again, this is a board. These are the lists, to do, in progress, and review, and within this is the cards. You see the option to add a card. So I click on add a card. So let's say implementation. Okay, I click on enter. Now that's the title of the card. By default, the first line that you enter becomes the name of the card. Now you can always edit implementation post review. Now that becomes the title. You can add the description, make your description even better, type in. Now here you can also use, I believe, the writing assistant from Trello's AI. So write with AI or select from below. Atlassian intelligence is what they call it. What steps should be followed before implementing anything? It is the steps to follow before implementing anything. Define the objectives, conduct research, assess feasibility, and blah blah blah. So let's say I insert this, and this card has this set of content. Now I want to use checklist to break the task into smaller steps. Now this is the description of the task. Okay, I need to define the objective, I need to conduct the research, assess feasibility, and so on. Now if I want to make the same thing, number 1 to number 10, as a checklist, I can do that right here. How do I do that? I'll show you. I click on enter. I click on checklist here. Okay. Implementation. Let's name it implementation checklist. I click on add. Here is the checklist. Now what I can do is I can keep adding these items. Sorry. Okay. Define objectives would be the first item. Conduct research would be the second item. Then the third item, assess feasibility. Then the fourth item would be engage stakeholders. Fifth item would be develop a plan. Sixth item would be to allocate resources. Seventh item would be risk assessment. Eighth item would be create a communication strategy. Ninth item would be pilot testing. And the final one would be review and adjust. Here it is. So this becomes the checklist. As and when the things are done, you can simply mark them and they get striked off and your checklist gets completed. You see even the percentages and the progress bar, all of that keeps coming up here. That's the checklist. I click on save. It saves the changes. That's the checklist. Now, similarly, you can attach files by going to attachments, share or paste a link. You can choose a file from the computer and so on. You can insert, you can set up a due date. So the card, so implementation post review, I can set up the due date. So let's say I set up the due date to be 22nd of January and I set up a due date reminder that is a day before. I click on save. Now the due date, I can look at this. So the due date is here. The card is due later. Implementation post review. These are 6 items are checked off in the checklist. So that gives us a quick overview of what are there in the checklist. So few other options that you get in the checklist. You can add members. You can join. Okay, you can add members. You can add labels. So what are these labels? So you can define the labels. Let's say you create a green label. Now what is this green label? How do you define this? You can add this label Add dates, location. You can add a cover image to the card. You can add custom fields. We'll talk about this later. You can add power-ups. You can add Slack and other power-ups. You can add automation by adding buttons. You have the option to move this card around. We'll talk about this later. You have the option to archive this card and so on. So these are the different things that you can do within a card. Now let's open this card once again. Now I created this card, right? And the members have access to this card. What they can do is, or what I can do is, I can tag different members here, all members on the card. Please review this. So whatever information I want to pass on to them about the card, I can add my comments over here and they can reply back to me in the comments the way I answer them. Yeah. So that's how you add and manage a card. Moving on to next, collaboration tool, assign members, leave comments, use mentions. We already spoke about this. Adding members, leaving a comment, tagging them. We just did this. Automation with Butler. So automating card movement, automatically moving cards to the done list, checklist items are completed. Sending reminders for upcoming due dates. And assigning cards to team members based on specific triggers. Automations not only reduces manual effort but also ensures your workflow stays consistent. What exactly is this? Look at the automation. Add a button. So these are some of the button templates. Move card to, copy card to, add a label, join the card, set due date or start date, mark the due date, remove. And so that's this. But I don't think I want to use this. Okay. No. So that's the rules directory, the different automation tips. There's not a lot of activity from you on this board since automation tips depends on the patterns of usage over time. We need some activity to generate them. Please come back once you have used the board for a while. Okay. For now, let's close this. Open this card once again. Look at the automation button. Move card to do. Okay, I want to move the card to review. Okay. Coming back to automation. Move card to review. Move card to top of the list, review on my first Trello board. Okay. Add a button. Now this automatically adds a button. Now the moment I click on this review, it automatically moves my card from in progress to review just by the click of a button. Now that's a small automation that we just built. I will click on create a custom. This is not create a button. So let's say every time I click on this button, something should get triggered. Add the action, move, add, remove, dates, checklist, members. Okay, content fields, 0 Bitbucket Slack. So let's say checklist. Add the checklist. So the checklist name was, I don't remember. Add the checklist, implementation checklist. Okay. Add item to checklist name. Set the item due date. Move the item due date to the same day next week. Remove the due dates. So all of these things is what you can do. So the moment, okay, I click on plus and I click on save. Now if I click on this card, let's say here is the trigger button. The moment I click on trigger, so what I could have done is check the activity log. Okay, it could not find the checklist, but yeah, so that's the idea behind it. The moment you click on trigger, it will take the next few steps. So like for example, if I have clicked on trigger here, it will automatically move from to do to doing and also add the checklist. So this could be a trigger. We'll talk about this. We'll do this in much more details. Hold on for a while we do this for you. Real life example, marketing campaign board. Here's a real world example, a marketing campaign board. Use the ideas list to brainstorm creative concepts. Move tasks to in progress as the team works on them. Once completed, tasks to the completed list. Trello's flexibility means you can adapt the structure to suit any type of project. So basically this, from to do to in progress to review and to done. I create a new list to done. So that's how easy you can move individual cards to different stages. That's a manual movement. You can automate this movement like we just discussed. Yeah, and that's this. And we are done. Some of the key takeaways. User-friendly interface. Trello has it. Easy access dashboard. Very easy visual organization. Well, boards are organized into lists and cards, providing a clear visual overview of your projects. Efficiency features. Features like search, notifications, and power-ups enhance efficiency. Automation tools like Butler take repetitive tasks off your plate. You're now ready to start building and managing your own boards.